perhaps no disease has inspired more terror than smallpox. Edward Jenner, who invented the smallpox vaccine in 1796, called it the most dreadful scourge of the human species. In the 20th century alone, smallpox is estimated to have killed 300 million people. The eradication of the virus in the 1970s stands as one of the great triumphs of medicine. And yet, 5 decades later, smallpox still haunts us, as the world worries about its resurrection as a biological weapon. For all the anxiety that smallpox inspires, its history remains remarkably mysterious. Researchers don't know how smallpox first evolved or how long it has plagued humanity. But over the past decade, geneticists have offered a new line of evidence, as they find smallpox DNA still lurking in the bodies of people who died centuries ago. On Thursday, researchers revealed the latest genetic trace in a paper published in Science. For the first time, they have found ancient smallpox genomes from the Americas, hiding in skeletons in Chile that date back about 500 years. These DNA fragments have prompted scientists to think about smallpox in a new light. It may not have begun as the dreaded killer we think of it as today. It's possible that it was a relatively mild infection for centuries, taking many generations to evolve into Jenner's dreadful scourge. Hendrik Poyner, an expert on ancient smallpox at McMaster University in Ontario, Canada, who was not involved in the new study, said he was not aware of any other disease that had taken such a course. "This is very strange," he said. Scientists generally agree that the smallpox virus jumped into humans from another species. Other animals carry a variety of related viruses, but scientists have yet to find a virus that could have been the forerunner. "We're not any closer to knowing the actual reservoir species from which smallpox came, which to me is kind of amazing," Dr. Poyner said. To understand when smallpox first started killing humans, researchers have looked at mummified remains, searching for the sores and scars the virus creates. The mummy of Pharaoh Ramses V, which dates back 3,000 years, has pockmarks on its cheeks. Many experts have suggested it's the oldest trace of smallpox in human history. But Dr. Poyner no longer shares that view. "I don't buy Ramses," he said. Dr. Poyner changed his opinion after he discovered how well other pathogens can mimic smallpox. He and his colleagues have shown that viruses like monkeypox and cowpox can leave similar marks, making it impossible to diagnose smallpox from pockmarks alone. The Chilean genomes now give scientists a much clearer molecular picture. They show that the virus circulating in South America 500 years ago was already distinct from the strains that later swept the globe. That suggests the virus had been evolving in human populations for some time before European contact, but it may have been far less lethal than the version that devastated indigenous communities after 1492. The new data also push back the timeline for smallpox's diversification. Earlier studies of a 17th-century Lithuanian mummy placed the common ancestor of all known smallpox strains in the late 16th or early 17th century. The Chilean genomes, being older and from a different continent, imply that the virus's family tree is deeper and more complex than previously thought. Researchers caution that they still have only a handful of ancient genomes, and the gap between the Chilean samples and the earliest possible cases remains wide. But each new sequence helps fill in the branches. As Dr. Poyner put it, "We're slowly turning on the lights in a very dark room." The hope is that understanding how smallpox transformed from a mild bug into a global killer could offer lessons for other emerging viruses. If a pathogen can simmer quietly for centuries before turning deadly, surveillance needs to look beyond obvious outbreaks. For now, the Chilean skeletons have given science a rare glimpse into that shadowy past. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, signing off.